Smooth 98.1. Here we are. It is gone past 6:30 already. And you know what that means. It is time for Business Express here on Smooth 98.1. I am Shokba Martins, and joining me, of course, for the next 15 minutes, I've got Rotus, and also we've got our guest in for today, Abisola Kaide Adedeji, who's the manager of client coverage, global markets with Stanbic IBTC, who brings you today's episode of Business Express. Abisola, good morning. How are you?
Morning, Shockman. Morning, Rotus. How you doing? Good morning.
Fantastic, and I'm really glad to have you here with me for the next 15 minutes because this is fantastic because I've got questions about investments. Everyone has questions about their investments. In these uncertain times that we're in, we need to know what's going on and what we can do about what's going on. All right, so if you have questions, if you want to join the conversation, do it. We are streaming live up on youtube.com/smooth981FM Lagos. You can leave your comments up on the live stream. You can also send WhatsApp messages into 0809 440 981 and tweet at us. We are at smooth981FM. Okay, so Abisola, let's get into this. The first question I'm going to ask, you know what's going on outside in the world around us and even in the country around us. So what's the mood like when it comes to your clients? What questions are they asking you?
Thank you, Shokbe. I think the first thing we need to do is to dimension the clients. We have the foreign portfolio investors, we have the local corporates, and of course, this is also dimensioned also into the kind of securities they're interested in. For the foreign portfolio investors, is the general risk of, there's a general risk of sentiment, and of course, for obvious reason, the shocks from the Russia-Ukraine crisis, inflation is also beating hard. Is the stories about an imminent, global recession. So the USD remains a safe haven, and so for emerging markets like us, what we've seen is a flight to safety from our baskets into more advanced economies, which is most likely the dollar. And that's why we've seen that go off. Now, for the local companies, the asset managers, and for even the local corporates that have funds to invest, because of the current issues, interest rates, inflation, they are insisting on the fact that they want higher returns on their investments. So they themselves are cherry picking on those ones available. And therefore, those that are still interested in equities, most of them is for all those stocks, that the dual listed stocks that can be traded so that they can also be able to move their funds to a safer haven, which is only the USD for now.
Okay, so when we're looking at USD, by the way, so to the general investor, the people like me, right? You're saying USD is, where is that?
No, what I'm saying is the naira remains our legal tender, and of course we have assets, we have securities we could invest in. We have treasury bills for the short dated. If your horizon is on the short dated side, so we have treasury bills, which is also one of our securities. That we also have bonds as well if your horizon is long dated, and so we have bonds as well. We have equities as well, and so that's why there was a need to dimension what the question was, because it's for foreign portfolio investors. They're not. Is not to a safe haven. But for our local corporates, for you and I, we have treasury bills that we can, which of course, if you give us a call me at stanbicibtc.com. Well, we have all these bouquets of securities and assets available for you to invest in.
Gotcha. All right. Yes. Now I understand. You did say right at the beginning, we got to dimension the clients, but yeah. Thank you so much for clarifying that. Okay, now let's move things on to Benue State, because stuff is happening over there. Now, the Governor Ortom has said that the state can't pay salaries because of a number of reasons. What exactly do you make out of that development?
So the challenge is this. I know Benue State is one of our food baskets. And so what I suspect is happening in that region is the space of insecurity in that region. And so what we're seeing is a case of this must have hit commercial activities around that region. And so they're not generating IGR at the quantum they need to. And of course, here, I think there was a mention of rising overhead costs. And you also need to know that for most of these states, they also depend a lot on FAC remittances, which is the Federal Allocation Accounts Committee funds. This is from the General from the general allocation income generated from the center, which is disbursed to our states and local governments as well. So I think is what we need to do here is we are beginning to see that security is biting hard at and disrupting commercial activities in those regions. So we need to beef up on security. But also, to a large extent, I think it's time we start looking at handling even our state business like a proper business where we're able to generate funds and generate funds, better and smarter debts and collections from the state, and also in terms of making use of technology as well. So all this needs to be put in place to ensure that people, when the citizens are actually paying for getting their collections for all the services and taxes that are being hit on, it gets to the proper pocket. So most of the states have their work cut out for them, because the days of relying solely on FAC, I think, is beginning to round up.
That revenue stream has been dwindling for some time now.
Yeah, so they need to boost on commercial activities in the state.
But the thing I'm wondering
proper allocation and proper remittance and collection as well.
Now the thing I'm wondering about though is this, right? So you've already said Benue State, right? We're looking at food basket territory, but then what about other states? Because if Benue State, which, and let's face it, food is recession proof. Like nobody's ever going to stop buying food, right? So if that state is going through this, obviously other states must be facing the same issue. So what exactly can be done? Because if we're looking at things in terms of, we need to run them like proper businesses, where do we start from?
Okay, so check, for example, Lagos State. Lagos State is the commercial nerve center of the country. So
everybody always talks Lagos State.
Yeah, so, and they're probably for metro states, probably like even Abuja, which is the capital. So I think for other states, particularly as we get into hinterland, need to decide on what they need to do. I know for some states, they've been setting up factories. For those interested in the dairy business, they've set up a proper dairy factories in those areas, because I think they were allocated land and so. And so imagine if all this, we're able to set up factories in all those regions. What happens is that there's job opportunities first and first. When there's job opportunities, people will pay their taxes. There's gonna be some taxes they will even need to pay to the state for running businesses in those regions. So the minute we are able to get commercialization running in all those states and rely less on FAC, is the only way. And so every state needs to decide on, look, what works best for us. See, for example, a Cross River. Cross River is one of those states where we can see that they can push in tourism because of the things on ground, the Tinapa Film Village and other places. Imagine if each state is able to get something in terms of, this is what I'm best known for. The states that can produce cocoa,
their specialties.
Yes, the states that can produce cocoa, in Ondo, Ekiti areas. Imagine if they take it up like a proper business. Commercialization is happening in those regions. A full bust economic activity. Lagos is not different. The only thing is that because there's full economic activities. And so if your FAC comes in, it's going to be it's just going to be a cherry on top.
It's a bonus.
Correct. Yeah. So until the states get to that, we will always struggle.
Oh boy. Now I've got a question from Ogene Ochuko, who says, in times like this, treasury bills are for big investors. What are the options for small investors?
No, I don't agree with Ogochukwu. Treasury bills are not for big investors. You can invest as little as 100,000 naira. You can invest as little as 100,000 naira. So it's not for big investors. And it's also short dated. So he doesn't need to do long dated ones like the bonds. He could do the 90 days. So we have for 91 days, which is just 3 months. So he can invest his money for 3 months and then decide at the maturity what he wants to do for going forward. Does he want to rehaul it back into it, or does he want to take the funds out? Of course, with the with his interest on top. There's equity. So I don't want him to have that thinking is only for big man. No. Treasury bills is there, and then if he has a long dated horizon, he can do bonds. He can do equities as well. There are a lot of MNMCs, they're doing so well. We're seeing their returns. He could buy any of them. And
Okay,
of course,
Ogenochukwu. Hope that
yeah.
helps.
So
So,
Oganechuku, we have a stockbroking business, and you could get back to any of our branches without. We have about 180 branches across the nation. You
oh
could
wow.
physically walk into one of them. You could call our customer service or call me at stanbicibtc.com. We are here to serve you. All the products are available.
Okay, and this message in from Ben saying, can Treasury bills be bought in USD or sterling? He's sending his message in from London, so that's why I guess that's why he
Okay,
wants to
hi
know.
Kenneth. Good morning. Okay, so you need to inflow your dollars or your pounds first, which will be crossed to naira, and then the naira will be used to purchase those assets. And then, of course, when these funds come in, it will be managed through the official market. So you get a certificate of capital importation. And so at the maturity of the treasury bills or bonds, you are able to access the market, convert your nairas back to the security, be the currency of choice with you brought in the funds, and so that you can also take out your funds also, all in a timely and orderly manner.
All right, nice one. All right, so let's move away from Benue and the insecurity and the FAC allocations, and let's talk about the disco, specifically Echo Disco. Now, the
Oh,
company says that it's lost 4 billion naira over the past 6 months, and all of this due to vandalism and cable theft. So,
wow.
what's going on there? Is this what is at the root of this issue? Are we thinking like this is actual just deliberate vandalism, or is poverty at the root of this?
I think for me, it's not. I don't. I would rather not workshop if poverty or whatever is the cause of it. I think to me, the on the top of my head was the solution. And so for areas
Okay.
where you have all those equipments, I think what you need to do is to beef up security in those areas as well. And the reality is that for when such things happen, most of these items are going to be traded in the black market. So I don't think it's poverty. To them, they see it as a means of making a quick buck.
Wow, this is
So
commerce in action, illegal
correct.
commerce.
Correct. So I think for me, what are the solutions? Trying to beef up security in all those areas, because I know we respond very well to consequence management. If a few of them are picked up, it's a deterrent for potential offenders to come.
Okay, well, so your whole spiel for today has been security, security, beef up security. Are
Yes,
you
we have to,
listening,
because it has a transient
people?
way. Yeah, because it has a transient way on affecting all other issues. So I
Yeah.
think it's gone beyond, oh, this happens in some part of the country. We're paying for the cost of it. For those bringing, it's taking the heightened security has taken a toll on road transportation, which is most times the means of transporting even the local produce from those food basket regions. And so by the time the foods get to the metropolis, it's double, because they have to factor in the cost of road transportation. And probably for some of them, they probably have to even get security to also escort some of those items across. And that ain't cheap. Someone has to pay the cost.
Now, up on the live stream on YouTube, so Fifi has something to say when you were talking about the other states and beefing up their IGR and making themselves known for something. Fifi said the Obudo Antinapa that the government has left to rot away. We're not ready. And I've got more in from engineer from Ugo from Papa. Ugo says the CBN policy on over-the-counter deposits for Euro bonds is affecting most investors. Is there any way to go about buying Euro bonds if I have the dollars in my DOM account, as a CBN is against dollar transfer within Nigeria?
Oh, okay. If you have your dollars already in your DOM account, it's not a problem. You need to send us an email or physically walk to one of our branches. Call me at stanbicibtc.com. Of course, there are ways for which it will be done. Luckily, he has the dollars already. And so it's going to be easy for that to get sorted, since he has the dollars already.
All right, so call me at stanbicibtc.com.
ibtc.com. You could also reach out to our customer service lines as well, or just go on www.stanbicibtc.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much for all of that information. And the questions have been coming in, but we've come to the end of the show already. So my guest for today was Abisola Kaide at DDG, who's a manager client coverage, global markets with Stanbic IBTC. You need to come back. Abisola, you need to come back on this show. It's been an absolute pleasure, eye opener as well.
Thank you, Sope.
In
it was nice being on air as well.
Yeah, nice doing business with you. All right. I look forward to when you come back on the show. All right.
All the time. Take care.
Thank you. All right. Take care.
Have a beautiful